to our 8th panel. Please get your seats. And maybe you can also acknowledge the hard work to make Afro Berlin possible for Prudence and her team, that we all sit here in this great atmosphere. The high-ranking panel, dear guests here, we have a great actor from Sweden here with us, one of the greatest actors and writers of that country. And he had very successful films for The Lawyer, The Swarm, and international hits The Tyrant and Zero Dark 30. Please welcome Alexander Karim on stage. Also a great actress with an extraordinary journey. She started as a nurse, a trained nurse, and then she had a stunning transition to film and won the César Award for Best Supporting Actress for her powerful performance in The Divide. Please welcome Aissatou Diallo Sagna. Bienvenue. And then please welcome the managing director from UFA Fiction Germany and Ghana. She is the most influential, one of the most influential producers in Germany for film and television. She used to work for RTL, ARD, Die Ghetto, Ziegler Film and the UFA, and created award-winning series like Arthur's Law, The Mopes. Please welcome Nataly Kudiabor. Nataly, herzlich willkommen. And I'm very pleased to introduce the next person on stage, because I told you this morning already I had a fanboy moment. I saw him, no, seriously, I saw him in this series in Germany from the ARD, and he's a writer, producer, director of Black Fruits Germany and the Gambia. Lamin Leroy Gibba, welcome on stage. One of the shooting stars in Germany. So, welcome, please, also the host for this panel. She's a producer and an actress, Simone McIntyre. She hosted already very great panels this morning. This is your stage. Enjoy this panel.
Thank you. So today we're going to talk about the transformative power of playing diverse characters in film and television. We did just have a really quick intro, but I want to have another 30 seconds from each of you about yourselves. So if I can go to Alexander. Is that mic there?
Me first?
Yeah.
My name is Alexander Karim. I'm an actor and an author from Sweden. What else is there? I've worked a lot in Sweden. I've done about 70 movies and films and TV series, and most recently I did Gladiator 2, and I just got back from the whole press tour of that. Hence the bags under my eyes.
Thank you. And Aissatou, I should say I will do my best to translate for Aissatou. She's going to talk to us in French. Un peu sur qui tu es et qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Alors moi, je suis actrice depuis quelques années, mais sinon, ça fait 20 ans que je suis dans le milieu médical.
So she's been an actress for a few years, but previously had a medical career. Nursing, wasn't it? Nursing, yeah. Thank you. And Nataly?
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, no question. I just have to say something, right?
Yeah, just 30 seconds.
So I'm Nataly. Thank you for the invitation. I'm a producer and MD with UFA, which is a big German production company. I recently produced the first Apple TV Plus original series out of Germany, and I'm really into bringing more diversity in front of the camera and also behind the camera, and trying my best here. But I'm also a big fangirl of Lamin because he's doing this already, so I hand it over to you.
Hello, thank you, Nataly. My name is Lamin. I'm an actor, writer, producer. I graduated drama school about 6 years ago or so. I studied in the US, and then I came back to Germany. I'm originally from Germany, with really the want to write stories that center Black characters, specifically Black and queer characters. And since then, I've been trying to like push some projects out there, and recently some of them have come to fruition, and most recently a TV show that I made called Black Fruits, which is in the ARD. Yeah.
Thank you. So I want to start with a really general question for all of you. For what does diversity mean to you? Que signifie la diversité? Do you want to go first, Aissatou?
Pour moi, la diversité, c'est d'abord une richesse, dans le sens où c'est important de pouvoir raconter les histoires de tout le monde, que tout le monde puisse être reconnu, et pas seulement un type de personne.
Cool. Representing the richness of the richness on diversity of people, so we can all recognize ourselves in the stories that we see on screen. I think I got it. Okay. Nataly?
Yeah, I think it means you have like more than just one voice in the room. You know, this is something we basically want. So I think, don't know how it is in other countries, but in Germany, still at the moment I have the feeling that saying diversity is not being a good thing. You know, it just like also means to tell people, we don't do this. But I think it's really about not being the only voice and have a lot of different voices.
And what would you say, Lamin?
Yeah, I agree with both of those statements, and I think it is just reality. I think it is thinking about how like structures like racism, sexism, classism, all of those things kind of like affect the entertainment industry and specifically film and TV, and working against that, because there are some voices that are actively held out of or are pushed out of these spaces by these structures. So I think it is thinking critically and actively working against those systems to invite those voices that have been excluded.
And what about you, Alexander?
I think the diversity, I mean, the whole point of creating art is to broaden people's views. I mean, in a world where we're constantly suddenly building walls, I mean, we're killing the idea of diversity by the minute. And I think that when we get to visit people, when we get to see people's lives, get to see different lives, that'll broaden our view of the world, and that'll, I mean, it's just a way towards peaceful living. It's a way towards expansion of the mind.
A question for all of you. How do you see a change in the industry since the beginning of your career entering in terms of representation? How have you seen it evolve? Comment est-ce qu'on voit l'évolution de diversité de la représentation dans le cinéma dès que le début de son carrière? Tu peux remarquer.
Moi, ça fait pas très longtemps que je suis dans le milieu cinématographique. J'ai l'impression qu'en France, c'est en train de changer, mais tout doucement. Et moi, je suis très fière de participer à ce changement-là, d'autant plus que j'ai eu la chance, on m'a offert un beau rôle, donc c'était quand même une femme noire en premier rôle, donc je suis assez fière de ça, quoi.
For anyone who didn't get it, in France, it's changing slowly, and she's really proud to be part of that change. Obviously, winning this César is really a huge part of that. I added that last bit. Nataly.
I've been in the industry now for like 30 years, and I remember when I started, people were always telling me, okay, this kind of stories you're interested in that nobody else is interested in them, and so that we have to show like what the public look like. And now I think, if you look in Germany, I think that at least 40% of the people who are living here are not white. So I think now this is a very good argument for me now to say, please, have a look go outside, go in the supermarket, go wherever, and then you see what the people look like, and they want to be represented on screen. And so we have to change that. So I think we are slowly but surely going there, but I think maybe like everybody at the moment, we feel a big pushback, and so I think we have to push harder.
Yeah, I agree, and I think when I entered the industry, which was like not that long ago, I do think that there was a different. It was different, and I think there was so much work already, like people like Nataly who were in this industry for 30 years and really tried to like push and change, and they did, and I think after 2020, in which I feel like there was globally a different awareness of specifically. Black representation. I think there was a shift that changed some possibilities for projects to be realized. But I also agree that there is a pushback now. I think it's a global pushback. I think it's a kind of a backlash that is happening now, and I think it worries me for sure. But I think we still have to continue to just keep pushing and keep putting our stories out there and connect with each other. But I do feel a shift.
Why? So do you want to jump in?
Oh yeah. Well, I remember one time, just to look at where the industry's gone from where it's been in Sweden. Back in 2010, I was in a movie. It was a movie about 6 friends going out to a house to spend midsummer, and on the poster of that film. It was a big film, and there were only 6 of us. On the poster were 5 of us. I wasn't on the poster. And I talked to my friend years later, who produced the film, and I said, "How come I'm not on the poster? Because there's like there's pictures of everyone everywhere, but I'm not even like in the back. I'm not on the poster." And he goes, "Yeah, because we had a meeting with the big company, and they said if we put a black face on the poster, it won't sell." That's 2010 maybe-ish. 2017, I did another film where I was on the poster. I was the lead, and I was on the poster, but the character, so we moved a little bit forward. Now, I could be on posters, but the character has a sister. It's about a lawyer. The show's called The Lawyer. I play the lawyer, and he has a sister. Now, you would assume that the sister would look like me. But when we got to the auditions, there was one black face and all these white girls. And I said, well, this one, look, we've been called brother and sister, me and this actress, like tons of times. She fits the part perfectly. She's a great actress. And they went, yeah, but maybe not more than one. So it's moving forward incrementally, but it's far from being there.
Do you, so with this change, do you think the word diversity, DEI, is sort of becoming almost like a dirty word in today's climate? Why do you think that is, and how do you think we should navigate it? Pensez-vous que la diversité devient un grand mot dans la politique d'aujourd'hui? Et si oui, comment devrions-nous y faire face?
Je pense que les médias, ils sont très forts pour instrumentaliser un petit peu et s'approprier ce genre de choses. Moi, je pense que la meilleure façon, c'est juste de faire notre travail du meilleur qu'on peut, d'être le plus vrai, le plus authentique quand on interprète les rôles qui nous sont confiés.
Media is super powerful in what we see and what we consume, and we just have to do the best that we can.
Ouais, je pense aussi que ça doit être un petit peu le reflet de la société.
And reflect society today.
Yeah,
thank you.
Now, what I think is when you watch, at least in Germany, television, you might have the feeling there are a lot of diverse characters. I think we still can do a lot more. But I think for people who've been in the business for a long time, also actors who've worked a lot, they have the feeling now they're losing jobs. So they have to give something away from their kind of power. Also, we're talking directors, writers. And so I think that's the kind of problem. So people say, oh, it's enough. We have this Turkish, investigator, and we have the whatever, the love interest who's black, and that's enough. but it's not enough, and I think it's just like something you feel, but at the moment I think there's a new initiative in Germany. It's called Omnidata, and they're going to collect all the data, and I think data matters, so it's not any longer about people feel there are too many of us. So we will really have numbers. So I think this is really going to help. They just implemented it a few weeks ago.
You can translate.
Oh, so there's an initiative. Il y a une initiative ici qui s'appelle Omnidata, et avec ça, on va vérifier les chiffres pour assurer qu'il y a des représentations, quelque chose comme ça, je crois.
It's behind it.
Yeah, nothing to add. I think we need data too. I think that's really important.
Cool. Did you want to add?
I always feel like, because you're right, and diversity is used more and more like a bad word almost, and I think that we need to get to a point where we stop asking people to diversify. And I think that the way to do that is, all right, so we've got, I mean, if you're an actor and you're constantly striving to further your career, and you're that tree branch and you're trying to get to the top of the tree and you're just trying to stretch up, but I think that what we need to do is, I mean, you get to the point where you can be an actor who gets the big check, and that feels great. But in order to truly diversify, I feel that we need to be the person not getting the check only, we need to be the person writing the check. And that's where you get to where Nataly is. She's 30 years. You've been in the business. She started when she was 7. And so...
Thank you. Pay you later.
See what I did there? But I think that we need to get to that point, because then diversifying is not about convincing anyone that it's important. The person sitting across from you knows it's important, feels that it's important. Mm-hmm. So to continue my tree analogy, we need to grow from both ends. We need to have branches reaching for the sky, but we also have roots shooting down into the ground and really getting a hold.
Sorry, Aissatou, you got that. Il faut que nous avons les fonds pour changer. Perfect. Can you each tell us about the most transformative role for the actors or project that you've undertaken so far? I'll go with you.
Yeah, all right. Most physically transformative?
Well, in terms of for your career and for you maybe personally, like...
I think that there's 3 that really have been significant for me. The first one was a short film. And short films, I mean, people don't see them, so they're highly personal. It was my brother Baker here directed a short film back in 2001 and for this film I'd gained 20 kilos and I'd grown my fingernails and grown my hair, and the film was a big success. And it just transformed my idea of what art is and what art can be. It's not about, acting cannot just be about posing the way you as I was 20 or whatever back then. So that was the first true moment for me. My second big moment was the show that I was talking about, The Lawyer. The Lawyer was the first time in Swedish history that a black person had a lead in a TV show. And to play the lawyer, thank you. And I was, because I had a choice to make, because I had been offered a big Hollywood film, but they were shooting at the same time, and every agent, my agents that I had, even agents I didn't have, said, don't do it, take the Hollywood thing. I said, but the Hollywood thing is always going to be there. It's just another Hollywood guy. It's great for your career, but I get a chance to do something that's going to bring change to an industry that hasn't seen that change. And so I, with fear in my heart, called my agent and said no, and took the Lawyer. So that was the second one. And the third one, absolutely career-wise, was Gladiator, which is it's a big film. It's a good film.
Nice.
Yeah.
Et Aissatou?
Le premier, déjà, je pense, la fracture. Étant donné que j'ai jamais pris de cours, c'était important déjà d'apporter la véracité et les difficultés de mon quotidien en tant qu'aide-soignante. C'était important pour moi de transmettre ça, que les gens ils se rendent compte des conditions de travail qu'on avait, etc. Mais aussi, c'était aussi la première fois que je me livrais. Moi, c'est quelque chose que je connaissais pas. Encore une fois, je le redis, j'ai jamais pris de cours. Donc, je pense que ça a été un rôle important dans ma vie et dans ma carrière maintenant, mais aussi un rôle de juge que j'ai eu la chance d'interpréter, un rôle important et gratifiant surtout. On n'a pas beaucoup vu de jeunes femmes noires interpréter ce genre de rôle, et même au-delà de ça, il y a aussi ce rapport au corps. Je sais pas trop ici comment ça se passe, mais en France, on n'est pas habitué à voir des femmes dessinées comme moi.
The second one was about playing a judge, and you don't normally see a black French judge on. C'était télévision ou un film?
Cinéma.
Oh, cinéma. Okay, right. Cool. So yeah, another change agent. We love it. And Lamin?
I think it was the one that I did most recently in the TV show, and I think when
Black Fruit.
It's called Black Fruit, yeah. And in drama school I was able to kind of play anything and be kind of the lead and, I don't know, play Hamlet and all these things, and then when you get out of school you are confronted with the industry and you see kind of how people look at you, and they see like a black, visibly queer actor, and it's very twisted and very limited of what they envision, what you can embody. So that was very shocking and sad, but then you also are like, well, this is what I committed my life to, so I really had to start writing my own material, and I knew that I had to, so it felt really great to write my own character and to write that character completely outside of the usual roles that I feel like we are often given, specifically if it's written by white people, which is either the victim or the perpetrator, but nothing in between, and very, barely that they are complex. And so that was really what the goal was, and I really wrote like the most challenging role for myself, and it was really challenging to play, but it's really great that I feel like people are receiving the role also. It's also a very polarizing role. I don't know, I kind of like that it's really edging to the limits of like what people are okay with, and I think that's really, that to me, I haven't really figured out why exactly I feel that's powerful. Maybe it's connected to this idea of like we're so limited in the ways of what we can play, but I think it's really powerful to have messy characters, black characters in the center of their own story.
Nice. And Nataly?
Obviously, I'm not an actress, but we did recently a casting for a big movie we're just shooting for Amazon, and one of the main characters was supposed to be a lawyer. And so I said, okay, let's see, who can we cast? And then we found this great Turkish actor, and he came to the casting and said, oh, I thought you made a mistake. And I said, why is that? And he said, it's the first time I'm being casted for a role like that, for, a character who studied. And I was so shocked because he's also in the business for 30 years. And he said it was the first time. So I was so happy. And now I saw him on a set, and of course he's doing a brilliant job, so very happy about that. Yeah.
Awesome. Also, Nataly, you told me that there was a really impactful series that you were on only 4 years ago, and tell us about that.
Yeah, it was like, I think the baby sister of Lamin's show. It was called, or it is called All You Need. This was also done for our public broadcaster ARD, and it's like the first gay show we produced, the gay series. And funnily, it was like 2021, and when you talk internationally, people are like, are you kidding me? And it's like, no, it has taken so long. And also here you see that representation matters, because the person who was working for the network, he's part of the gay community, and he wanted to make the show happen. So I always keep stressing this, because, who are the gatekeepers? So if you want to make something new or something different, you have to find somebody who believes in that and who's also invested in that. And not only did we do it gay series. One of our main actors was also a black actor, a black character. But it's also really, it wasn't my idea, I have to say. We had a really great writer and director who's from the community, and he wrote it into the scripts right away. He always does this, and I love it when I read his scripts because he puts always in like white character, black character, whatever. So there's no mistake, and it's not only like with the POC characters. So I think it's really something we should, put it down so everybody knows. And when they read it for the first time, the script, they know in their head you have the right vision. Hopefully.
Nice. Tell us, so all of us are, including myself, we are like European, we're from whichever country we're from, but we always have our country of origin. Do you also happen to consider yourselves as some sort of ambassador for that place of origin too, in your work, ever? Est-ce que vous vous considérez comme ambassadeur pour votre pays d'origine?
Je suis pas sûre de vraiment me sentir comme une ambassadrice. Ce qui est certain, c'est que moi, je suis riche de cette double culture et que du coup, il y a encore plus cette envie de bien faire et encore plus cette envie d'apporter du vrai dans les interprétations, quoi. Mais c'est sûr que ça fait entièrement partie de moi et de mon identité. Ça, c'est indissociable. Et j'en suis très fière.
She's proud to represent the both cultures and be fiercely representing all of that, and not feeling like she should just focus on one. I think. One identity, both of them, all of it. It's all of you. But I still want to know.
I have to admit, I've only been twice to Ghana, so no, I think also of myself, it's so nice to have like these roots, both roots. And of course, since I've been brought up in Germany and I've lived here all of my life, I've lived abroad, but I feel very German because I know how to handle things here. I think this is an advantage, but still have like the other side of me. So I can also, I think, really root for people who are not like, whose origin is not only from Germany, or also if you have been like, if you have like discriminating experiences and things like that. So I think it's really, when I look at a script or a topic, I think my point of view is a little bit different than like the average maybe German. So this really helps. So I think, of course, and which is nice that some of the, creatives come to me because they say, I think maybe you understand really what I want to tell, which story I want to tell. And then, they offer it to me, and this is a big honor. So maybe sometimes I can help just like, get the baby out of the crib and get it walking. So, yeah.
And Lamin?
Yeah, the question was, can you say the question again? Like, if we represent...
Do you ever consider yourself a representative of your country of origin? So for me, for example, I'm British, but my parents are Jamaican, and am I supposed to... Well, no one believes me, but... am I supposed to always run to everything Jamaican or talk about that? Do you know what I mean? Do you feel that on your shoulders in your work? Do you feel like you need to speak about that always?
Yeah. I think that's such an interesting question because I also feel like it could go into different directions. I do feel a connection of part of my dad's side who is from the Gambia. I do feel like that part of that culture is also part of me. But I also feel very, like Nataly, very like connected also to, being a Black German person, being Afro-German, and kind of having that kind of point of view, which is also very diverse within Germany and like a lot of different perspectives. I feel connected to people from the diaspora, period. But I also think in the context of like institutions, film industry, storytelling, I think it's really important to always make very clear that our points of views are very specific and our own, and that we can never represent more than one person. In my opinion, I think we have the perspective that we have, but I think it's really important for me to never pitch something, talk about my work in a way that I feel like I'm representative of something beyond who I am.
Just you as the artist.
Yeah.
Sure. And Alex?
I absolutely feel like we made a film, a TV show, me and Baker, back in the early 2000s called The Family Babaju, because Sweden's a country that hadn't really dealt with the fact that there's people of different colors. Back in those days, everything was white, and if you saw someone of color, they were in the background, or they were security guard number 2, or And so we made this show about our life and our mom coming to Sweden from Uganda back in the 70s, and the struggles that she had raising 4 kids by herself. And that was an attempt to connect these two cultures, to connect them, to show the connective tissue between them. And I feel that doing a show like that, it's not only that one feels like you're representing your country. Living in a white country, you feel like you're representing all non-whites. You know what I mean? I was, when I was a kid, I had a big poster of Denzel Washington on my whole life. In every house or apartment that I've lived in, there's been a picture of Denzel Washington on the wall. And I had one of him as Malcolm X on my wall when I was a kid, when that just came out. And I looked at it wide-eyed and said, oh my God, if he, looking like that, can play, if he can be there, then maybe I can do it too. And so that's what he passed on to me through that picture. And 20 years later, I remember being at the theater, playing theater for a bunch of school kids, and I saw a little brown kid with the same eyes looking at me going, can I? And that's...
You were his Denzel.
Yeah, and so I think that's the sort of thing that you're representing. You're representing that.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, you played with him.
So that poster was your vision
played
board.
with me, you know what I mean?
The poster was your vision board, in essence. Yeah. I think we're going to have quite a few questions, actually. But before, can you just each tell us about your current project before we open up to some questions? Lamin, I know you said a little bit, but say a little bit more.
Yeah, well, my current project that is already out is my TV show Black Fruit, which, it's a dramedy, it's a cringe comedy, it's like an 8-episode series that is in the public TV, which is really nice, very accessible. And
what about if you're foreign? Can you watch it outside of Germany?
You can, unfortunately, but we are working on getting some international distribution as well. Okay. But so far, only Germany, Austria, Switzerland. Yeah.
Thank you. And Nataly, you've got is it Malzahan Mon Amour coming out?
It's a very small show, but I really liked it. It's about 3 women in their 50s from East Germany. And I think diversity also means that. So I picked up the rights from the book and we shot it, and it's going to be out in March. And it's about like really a little nail salon in Marzahn, which is supposed to be like a little bit rough area here in Berlin. But it's so beautiful. And when I read the book, it was so nice to understand so much more about the East German soul and the lives. And it's, all the people who go to the salon are more like in their 70s and older. And it's so lovely. And I think also here representation matters, and also the writer, she's from the East. It's not like some people from the West like me talk about, their stories. So it's really, from the community for the community. So I hope this is going to be a nice little jewel, maybe.
And what you said is interesting, because when we talk about diversity at the moment, we don't necessarily mean well, in general we should, but we forget about the council estate white kids, for example, that aren't, able to afford to go to film school either, who aren't represented in a wide way, and all these other groups of people, not just if you're brown, for example. And so that's really important to hear. Aissatou, ton projet actuel?
En ce moment, c'est un projet qui me touche beaucoup parce que c'est un projet familial. C'est un projet juste avec des gens qui croient les uns en les autres et qui s'aiment plus fort que l'on s'aime soi-même, et ça traite des relations intrafamiliales et des impacts dans la société française.
Et le genre?
Pardon?
Qu'est-ce que c'est le genre? C'est un genre.
Le genre du film?
Oui.
Non, c'est plutôt un drame. C'est plutôt dramatique.
Okay, family drama about relationships, and it's close. Yeah, you're saying it's quite close to your heart. You're liking, tu aimes le personnage que tu as. It's yeah, that's basically what she just said. She's liking the family relationships within the story. Yeah, and yourself?
Yeah, we just finished one of those love projects. Again, this one Baker directed it. Where it's called The Dog, and it's a film where we said, listen, all the movies that are made with people of color are made from a standpoint of, look at how we need to feel sorry for these people. There's poverty, or there's bad conditions or whatever, and we said, listen, let's go to Kenya, let's go to Mombasa and shoot a movie with a character that doesn't make excuses. He happens to be black because I'm playing him, but it's more like a taxi driver in Mombasa. And so we went there and we shot that without making excuses for the character. We just shot it, and it's been making it's just finished, and it's been winning awards and traveling around, and so yeah, that's the.
Where can we see it?
Where can we see it? We don't know yet. It's just now out on. Yeah, it's just finished and completed, and it's been to festivals, and it won. What's it called? The festival? Afro. Yes.
Fantastic. And Afro is here.
Pan-African Film Festival in Los Angeles tomorrow. Yeah. Might win.
So good luck for tomorrow.
Yeah, in Afro we won.
Yeah, as well. Well done. Yeah. Well done.
Thank you.
So now I would like to open the questions up to the audience. Anybody have any questions for our wonderful panel here? No? You have one.
I have a question. I'd like to challenge the panel. When we talk about diversity, I think there are different points of views on diversity, how we understand diversity. And there are different dimensions of diversity. So I think we have to think intersectionally, because it's not only about the skin color, it's also about age, about sexual identity, about religion, about the social background, about ability, physical and mental abilities. How can we get these skills about diversity into the whole the business? Because I think people have to know that, and we have to be on the same page about what we are talking about when we talk about diversity. You understand the question?
Can you translate for me?
Comment est-ce qu'on peut encourager these skills of diversity? No. Attitudes.